Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. We start our video with a story in which our OP's boss banned an entire HOA subdivision and also did one more cool thing in the end. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. HOA got entire subdivision banned from pizza delivery. Disclaimer: I did not live in this HOA, but I did live down the street. Okay, so we're gonna set the Wayback Machine to circa 2000 on this one. Gas is cheap, cell phones were small, and my Ford Escort got amazing gas mileage. As the now ex-wife and I were struggling with our bills, she decided that the easiest thing, for her, was for me to get a second job to try to catch up and then get something into savings. Having seen the sign in the window of the local pizza shop, which was named after the popular game played with small rectangular pieces that was advertising $12 to $16 an hour for drivers, that was a lie. She badgered me into applying. Fast forward a couple of months, and I've settled into my mind-numbing routine of working 60 to 70 hours a week at 2 jobs. On this particular day, I was scheduled to work on Saturday, which was hit or miss for tips. You see, our delivery area was very nouveau rich, combined with scattered groups of Florida rednecks. You'd have a gated community with McMansions and BMWs right next to trailer parks. Oddly enough, the smaller the house and cheaper the car, the bigger the tip, which factors into the story. On this particular Saturday, the local HOA was throwing a pizza party for the residents. I think they were celebrating the last house being sold or moving the HOA from the developer to the board or something. Anyway, they ordered a ton of pizza, so much so that the manager had scheduled extra kitchen staff and had them show up an hour early just for this one order. He even gave them a discount on the pizza since they ordered so much. There were so many pies that it took myself and another driver 2 trips apiece to deliver it all. When we got the last boxes of pizza delivered, the manager wrote a check for the total, $200 in change, rounded up to the next dollar for our tip. So I left and went back to the store. The manager asked me how much of a tip that I got, to which I replied 87 cents. He didn't believe me, so I showed him the check. He then asked me if I was messing with him and if they had given me a cash tip. Nope. He went off. He walked over to the phone, called the manager of the HOA, cussed her out for not tipping his drivers, after he discounted the order and scheduled extra stuff just for her order, and told her that he was entering that entire subdivision into the computer as do not deliver. He then hung up, opened the cash register, and gave each of us a $20 bill for a tip. To this day, I have no idea if any of the residents were ever able to order from that store. This is the kind of boss you want. And our next story. Drunk Karen steals my badge and risks jail time over a gallon of milk. A little background to start off. I started a new job with the county about a month ago. I was hired to be a juvenile correctional specialist. It's not a glamorous job, but I absolutely make sure my clients are safe, afforded every right they're entitled to, and I treat them with respect and dignity. That being said, I don't live in a great area, and my uniform looks a lot like a police officer's uniform, so I never wear it outside of work if I can help it, just because I don't want to deal with the potential issues, which seems to be the right call after this incident. It's also important to note that during my orientation, my training officer spent a literal hour explaining the many ways that are appropriate and inappropriate when it comes to representing oneself. For instance, in our county, I'm considered, and therefore legally allowed, to refer to myself as an officer of the peace, an officer of the county, an officer of the court, and a correctional officer. At no point, and for no reason, am I ever legally allowed to represent myself as, or even imply that I am an officer of the law, a police officer, or any other title of that nature. If someone assumes I'm a cop, I legally have to correct them, or I could potentially lose my job, be fined, or even arrested based on the situation. I'll point out, however, that my uniform and badge carry the same legal obligations and repercussions when it comes to damage, theft, etc., because it's all considered county property. So yesterday I get done working a double and get ready to leave work. I hadn't expected the forced overtime, so I hadn't checked the weather for the evening shift. Lo and behold, I'd left my windows cracked through a rainstorm and my extra shirt and jacket had gotten soaked. This would have been fine because it was dark, so I wasn't worried about someone seeing me go from my car to my house, but we were out of milk and I really needed to stop at the Mart of Walls. Normally, I'd just take off my uniform shirt and badge and throw on my extra shirt, but I didn't feel like donning a soggy top or going into the store in the tank top I wear under my uniform shirt. Plus, it was 15 minutes till close, and I was just running in and out, so what's the worst that could happen? I ran in, grabbed the milk, grabbed some ice cream, because why not, and headed to the self-checkout. The line was pretty long and wrapped around towards the entrance, so I was in the entitled lady's direct line of sight when she stepped through the doors. While she didn't fit the mold of the traditional Karen, I think she still counts. She was an older woman, probably in her 50s, in heels and a rather low-cut sundress, fake tan, fake hair, clearly fake boobs. I clock her making a beeline straight for me in my periphery and continue staring straight forward because something about her seemed a little off. Maybe it was the odd gait with the slight stumble every few steps, or the fact that she was kind of mumbling to herself, but I had a feeling that she was under the influence of something. She got about 5 feet away and I could smell the alcohol emanating from her. She then reached out and firmly tapped my shoulder. The following is our conversation, nearly word for word as best I can remember. EP, excuse me, I'm so glad I made it before they closed. Me, that's great. Continues staring forward, attempting to ignore her. EP, well, I just came in here because I really need milk for my kids' breakfast tomorrow morning. You think you could help me out a bit? Me. Sure, milk's on the wall at the back of the store. Just head straight back down that main aisle and you'll walk straight into the dairy section. She looks at me dumbly for several seconds. EP. Well, that's not really what I mean. You see, I noticed that you have the same kind of milk that my family drinks, so I thought maybe you could let me have it. That way I can get home to my kids sooner. Me. No, thank you. I'm good. EP. Wait, what does that mean? I can't have the milk. Me. That is correct. You can take 3 minutes to walk back and get your own milk, just like I did. That's how groceries work. Again, she stares at me for several moments, trying to process the situation through the haze of intoxication. EP. You're being incredibly rude. You shouldn't even be in here. Me. How do you figure that? EP. My tax dollars aren't supposed to be paying for the police to go shopping while on duty. Now give me that milk. I want your badge number so that I can talk to your superiors about your inappropriate behavior. Me. Ma'am, I am not a police officer and I am not on duty. I just happen to be coming home from work and still have my uniform on. EP, now starting to shriek and attract attention. You're obviously lying. I can see your badge right there. I won't let you get away with lying just to protect your job. At this point, she begins to claw at the badge-shaped patch that's sewn onto the upper right shoulder of my uniform shirt. Not wanting to escalate things further, I took a step back and grabbed my real badge to show her. Now, it's not like a metal badge or a jacketed ID like cops or detectives carry. It's literally just a laminated card in a clear pouch attached to a retractable clip on my belt. The pocket also contains my electronic access card to the jail itself, the whole jail, not just the juvenile side, which was about to become a huge deal. Me, holding up badge. See how it says correction specialist, not police officer? Bold as anything, this crazy Karen reaches out, snatches my badge out of my hands, and rips it off my belt. Now, at this point, the bystanders that had been nervously standing and muttering amongst themselves went silent because, like most sane and rational human beings, they realize that it's never a good idea to take the badge of someone in a uniform, whether they're a cop or not. I myself took a moment to respond because I truly could not understand the idiocy of stealing anything, let alone a badge, over a gallon of milk. I would have been within my rights to grab her and force her to give it back, but again, I didn't want things getting out of hand, so I decided to reason with her. Me. Ma'am, I don't think you realize the consequences of what you've just done. That is the badge of a county officer, and stealing one is a misdemeanor if you're lucky. However, behind that badge is my swipe card for the jail. You've literally just stolen a key to the county jail, which is a felony with a potential 10-year sentence. This is absolutely true, by the way. I think you should probably hand it back to me right now, because I don't think a gallon of milk is really worth a decade of your life. EP, now starting to look a little nervous. That's not what I meant to do. Looking at the other bystanders for support. You saw how she was being rude to me, right? I was just trying to get her information and she wouldn't give it to me. I didn't do anything wrong, right? Unbeknownst to either of us, one of the customers ahead of us was either an off-duty cop or retired. I couldn't tell which. He piped up with, "Ma'am, I'd do as the officer suggests if I were you. I can't slap cuffs on you right now, but I've got a few guys on speed dial that'd be happy to do it for me. Since they patrol this area, I'd say you've only got a couple of minutes to make your choice." And with that, he pulled out his phone and started swiping. All the color drained out of EP's face, and she basically flung my badge at me as she jerkily rushed out of the store, ranting, mumbling loudly, something about how it was just a GD gallon of milk. I thanked the older guy and told him not to bother calling anyone. Everyone got through the checkout like responsible adult human beings, and I got to go home and enjoy my ice cream, having learned that I should really just do my shopping on my days off. Edit. Not that it matters in context of the story, but I'm a smallish woman. It makes it a little bit funnier to me since I don't think I look anything like a stereotypical cop. Yes, I know there are many fabulously skilled women of all shapes and sizes in all branches of law enforcement. Also, I do agree with many of you posting that the cops should have been called because she was intoxicated. I probably should have thought that through better. All I can say is that the whole situation really threw me because her behavior was just so out there. I was just glad that she finally left me alone before it became a huge deal and didn't really think beyond that. I did check the local accident reports this morning, and thankfully no one of her description was reported to have been in an accident due to drinking, so that's lucky. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.